Welcome to Mishlei class date 12/16. And we're going to finally graduate from the world of the Navone. All right, let's roll. 2024. All right, I'm reading from just a basic translation of Mikros Gedolos Mishlei. Let's see. I don't expect them to be accurate, but just to get things, to get the ball rolling. Me Hashem mitzadei gaver v'ada ma yavin darko. A man's steps, that's right, are from Hashem. So let's see. So me Hashem mitzadei gaver. Travis, what is a gaver? No. This is a good question. No. I have when I work with Ira, my radio show, I got real into this. So get this. You'll like this. You like this. And Adam, right? Adam. Adam is a general low-grade guy. Yeah. I think so, yeah. But he's not in any one particular thing as he failed. He's just, he's dude, right? Then you have Anush. Anush. Who's this? Loretta. Hello. Welcome. Then you have Anush. And Anush is what's called, in yeshivish terms, a bala boss. You know what a bala boss is? One or two. No? I'll tell you what a bala boss is. A bala boss is an Amma Aretz. Right? He goes to class and he sleeps at his shtender, right? And he's calling the rabbi every other day for answers of how to be a better religious person. Yeah, but it's not even so much about the learning. He's not interested in learning, so his report card doesn't matter. He doesn't know how to do lulav and sukkah, okay? He's just going to, Rav, am I allowed to put the sukkah on the front patio, or should I put it dafka on the back patio so as that the guy neighbors will not see, they get hana from my mitzvah, and I could be over, right? Didn't you say that, right? We have to put it on the back patio. Right. Okay, so that's Anush. Got him? He's not Adam. Adam is your failed bal tshuva who just puts it in the front patio and has his gear neighbor over and doesn't think twice. One or two. So see how they both have a plus and a minus? This is how we darshaned Isaiah 56:3. The bal tshuva and the balabas. Right? Now, who is your gavir? Right? In Israel, Reuven likes it when I call all the Israelis gever. Gever is like the slang tag. I say, "Alo, gever, makore, manishma, shano, makore, gever." Gever is what you would say. Yeah, it's your guy. Exactly. He's a guy. So here it is. You'll get this, Travis. Your car broke down. Okay, who are you going to call to fix it? Adam, Enosh, or Gever? No, Gever. He's the guy who's resourceful. He knows how to get it done. You follow? He's your guy that knows how to do all guy stuff. The reason why I say that is no. Get out of biblical. We're not talking biblical at all here. This is very life practical. The Chumash, when your Anush comes to the temple, right? He has to bring an offering to the temple. And he has no idea what he's doing, one or two. He's got the donkey, and he's got the this, and I don't know. And he goes to see a Cohen, one or two. What do you call a Cohen? Gever. The Aramaic calls him Gever. You understand why? He knows what's going on with the knife and with the shechting and with the animal and then the this, right? So you cannot have the guy bringing the offering being a gever, right? You imagine how that would be. No, you Mr. Cohen, you don't know what you're doing. No, Mr. Bolabas, you don't know what you're doing. So the Cohen was the guy that got it done. Yeah, he was your guy, real guy. He got it done. All right, so with that said, now we understand three kinds of guys. There's the Gever, the guy who just knows what's going on. You got your Enush, he's just kind of clueless. And you got Adam, who's not, he's a different clueless. Yeah, doing his job, 100%. Adam is the guy, the Adam is a low-grade Gever. Right? You got two friends, Travis. One of your friends you call because he actually knows how to fix your car, and the other guy claims he knows how to fix it, but he always makes it worse. One or two. That's right. And the guy who's with you at this time you broke down, that was your Enush friend. One or two. There you go. All right, so now, Me Hashem mitzadei gavir. A man's steps are from the Lord. So just by looking at this, I'm saying, old dude, our good guy, he's walking with God. I don't know what the commentary says yet. So, the Adam ma yavin darko. But what does a man know of his way? I think this makes sense so far. I think we can rely right now on what we know from the Aramaic, right? The Gever, he's walking with God. Adam, the Adam, the Baal Tshuva, I think yesterday that we would call this guy the petty. This is our petty. The other guys are Navon. I could be wrong, but right now, on the first glance. So we're saying Ma Yavin Darko. How would he ever know his path? All right, let's go and see inside and see if we're right or wrong. See, 24. Min Kadam Hashem Hilchase de Gavra. Barnasha lo misboyin or chaseya. According to the Aramaic, I just got 100% of my test score, just so you know. We made one or two. He's calling the Gever, the Gavra, and he's calling low-grade Adam Bar Nasha. That's exactly what it was supposed to be. All right, now let's go to Rashi. 24. Rashi thinks that we don't even need to know. He's not interested. That tells you where Rashi's at. Mitzudas Tzion. Mitzadei Mederech HaRegel Kamo Vayi Ki Tzadoi Derech HaRegel. You can say it's by the way of the foot, by walking, literal walking, but you can also say regel. Anybody listen to my Vilna Gaon number, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7, I forget what it was, right? Regel is your teva, your nature. So we're saying that the natural-born, God-given mazel of our Gever, he's with God according to his nature. You're born a guy. A guy is the level of a guy, he's born with that from God. You don't become a guy. You are either born a guy or you're not a guy. One or two. We know this. It's a mazel thing, right? I mean, my dream as a kid and growing up in Dayton, Ohio, I guess we can mix in some Job here, right? Was I would have loved to have been a mechanic, right? My next door neighbor, my first apartment, his name was Derek, and he was a mechanic. He worked at a Cadillac dealership, and it was just awesome. The guy was just a mad scientist, right? I cut the cord of my air conditioning unit by accident, and this guy had like a circuit breaker box fix-it thing in the basement of the apartment building. And next thing I know, the guy like glued together my wire from all of his like just knowledge of cars, right? He was trying to put a burglar alarm system on my truck. He said if you behind the glove compartment you can cut a wire and put a fuse on there, right? So that before I start my car, I got to flip a knob, and anyone that would try to steal my car wouldn't be successful unless they knew that little secret. So that's a Gever, right? That's your MacGyver Gever. You gotta love that mazel, MacGyver, right? You're born that way. You're totally born that way. You don't go to elementary school or high school to learn how to be a Gever. You're born that way or not. And I was not born that way. So at least in terms of what I dreamt to be, because this guy lived a life, and it was just awesome. He was a free spirit. He went to work 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., $20 an hour working on Cadillacs, and he was living the life. So that's that guy. Okay, but Dirk is not him. As I explained Dirk in Texas, you see that is not Dirk, right? He's working at Best Buy. He's playing Dungeons and Dragons, and he's hoping to get out of community college to hopefully move on to a 4-year university where he will become some kind of whatever, right? He is not Gever. He is an Adam. And now, for those that heard the Vilna Gaon series, you can change your mazel, right? You can change your mazel. So Dirk can become a Gever. And technically, I've seen it before, the Gever can become Adam. America is trying to take Gever and make it Adam, one or two. Right? You trade in your craft and your skill and your trade, and we want you to get a name tag and sit at a desk. That's what America's doing. They want no more Gever. Gever is gone with the wind. Brandon and I did some learning. I don't know if he told you. We were hacking the matrix and looking at blogs on the internet. And we went to a construction website, right? Like a woman with a blog about PR for a construction firm. I never thought more than 10 seconds of my life about construction. You know what it said? That the millennials are not going into construction. And it's a shame, because it's like once you get past 30 years old in construction, they want to put you with like a good job. Right? It's not like you're going to be shoveling coal the rest of your life. Like they make it sound, I don't want to be shoveling coal the rest of my life. It's ridiculous, right? It's a world of Gever where they just keep plotzing along the Gever on a Gever path. He never becomes Adam, one or two. They provide for Gever, but because they want Gever to become Adam, they tell you that construction companies don't have good for Gever. You're going to be out there in the hot sun till you're 70 years old fixing a highway. It's just not true. It's just not true, right? They're looking for caliber Gever. If you're a caliber Gever at 18, guess where you're going to be? In the sun shoveling coal, because you're 18, man, right? In Israel, they put you in the army. Same reason. There's no reason to think that you are beyond that at 18. That's why you're 18. Right? Torah says that your body is a strong buck for that reason. You cannot be spiritual at that age because your body is so strong. It doesn't yield. So once you start getting older and you're a caliber Gever, the world of Gever takes care of Gever. But Americans want to make you afraid to be Gever. So they say, trade in being Gever and go be Adam, go be Dirk. It's better to work at Best Buy, and we have, all these benefits and stuff, than being Gever, one or two. And it's just not true. It's a bad deal. Bad deal. Anyway, so but you can lose your bracha, and Dirk is able to cross over into the world of Gever, and I forgot to unplug my phone. Okay, now, Mitsudas David. Mitsudas David, from Hashem. What does it mean, from Hashem? That's a good question. I had the same thing in my mind. Midarke kaf regle ha'ad, hu me Hashem. The ways of the palm of the foot of man is from Hashem. Wow. Travis Armstrong, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? That is absolutely incredible. You hear this? Did you cop the Navone shot in this? Why does a person play piano? I want you to tell me, Travis Armstrong. Why does a person take up piano? No. Again, I'm speaking in very general terms here. Because very general terms. A person that has long, narrow, curved fingers. All right, their fingers have a desire to be used a certain way. And the piano is built for people like that in general. Right? I don't know. We can speak in generalities, but you get my point, right? When you're born a certain way, your interests follow the curvatures of your body. I would imagine if I was 6'8", I would want to do basketball more than wrestling, one or two. So get this. This is incredible. You go by the curvature palm of your foot. That is from God. That's called mazel. Right? The actual foot of a man. Just like the people do palm reading, right? People read palms. Did you ever, it's like a backwards like black market website, right? David Katz mazel foot read. Right? David Katz looks at the curve of your foot. I'm gonna get a new website. Foot reading. Mazel foot reading. Send me a picture of your feet. That would really freak people out, wouldn't it? That's what he's saying. He's saying that your DNA of the manliness of a man is in the curvature of the palm of his foot. You can know what kind of man you are by the palm of your foot. If you are Gever, Adam, all these things. So that's why it's from Hashem. Me Hashem mitzadei Gavir. Take it literal. That's it. It's literal, man. You are the kind of guy based on the literal mazel of the development of the curvature of your foot. Aval ha'adam atzmo ma yavin darko. Meaning your foot knows what to do. Right? Your foot will just do what it does. You know why I never became a marathon runner? Because Gever guys don't become marathon runners. According to this, no guy ever ran a marathon as a profession with a foot like mine. I'm saying. And so you take up the interests of your foot. And your foot knows what to do, right? Your foot knows. Again, if my feet are kind of just, look, I'm a big guy, right? You guys probably seen the pictures. I'm not light and springy in my step. That's probably not a surprise. But if I would have been extremely light and springy in my foot, I would have an insatiable desire to run around the block, right? You'd have a hard time keeping me down. And this is the whole deal. I mean, why do some people swim and other people don't swim? Because some people have buoyancy and some people don't. It has nothing to do with how big you are. I know big guys that are extremely buoyant. But in Adam, a regular aspect of Adam, Mayavin Darko. How does he understand his path? Even if you're the foot of the Gever, how do you understand that? How do you get to understand the curvature of your foot? You don't know. So, this is what I was saying, right? Is that my neighbor was Gever, right? But he was a lot older than me. I was 18. What I didn't even realize, I was Gever. But I thought I was Adam. I didn't know that I was like an alpha male type strong Gever guy, Jewish Cohen. I didn't know. I'm from Centerville, Ohio, which is kind of an Adam Dirk school, right? Everyone gets a name tag and a desk. I literally didn't know. I was convinced I was Adam until when I got to yeshiva, and with maturity, you could say when I caught up with my feet, basically, and I realized that I'm Gever. Cohen, by definition, the Torah is Gever. So before you reach Gever in your mind, that's exactly right. And that's the truth. You got to love that. That's where it comes from. You grow into your shoes, man. That's really what it is. 100%. So, but every gever that ever lived, the reason why high schools have the ability to convince John the Ger to be Dirk, right? Why is it a challenge? Because we're all Adam in school. Like you said, Travis, literally your feet, you're a man almost my age, right? So you know exactly what it is. Your feet change as you get older. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has kind of girly little feet, little boy feet in high school. Everybody. When you're older in your 30s, you I don't know about you, Travis, but have you ever really sat and meditated on your feet? Just passing, not as like a long meditation. Just you notice that in your 30s, you get man feet. It's one of those things. One of those things. I never thought about it or even vocalized it till this time right now. It's just one of those things. I'm getting dressed, in the morning, and half a second glance at the feet, quick thought, never vocalized, never meditated on again. But it definitely changes. I mean, I was in Taekwondo in high school, so I remember just being conscious. Taekwondo means a jump, smash, break with the foot, right? So I remember just over the years acknowledging the different phases of my feet. And apparently it's a big wisdom and mazel, according to Shlomo. So there you go. There you go. So a man that grows into his shoes, he has a relationship with Hashem, one or two. So if you merit man feet, then you're good to go. You should thank God that you're the gever and you understand just to follow your feet and you're all good. But if you are not a gever guy, if you are a bar nash or adam or all these things, right? Or if you are pre-30 years old and you don't know yet that you're gever, you are now all adam. How does adam, someone divorced from his feet, therefore divorced from his mazel, therefore divorced from God, seemingly alone on a maybe yes, maybe no path, how is he Yavin Darko? This is why they probably call it the footsteps of the Mashiach, Ikvus Mashiach. Why? Because you understand as the footsteps grow, there you go, mazel language, you understand the Mashiach. And remember we said Yavin is language of small bites, little tidbits, right? And that's why your feet really get smaller as you get older, not physically, but you start breaking your body down into dimensions. As a kid, you don't isolate your feet. You're just guy, right? That's how men see themselves, right? Just the body of a male. When you get older, you start to acknowledge, I mean, I don't know about you, Travis, but me, I'm also acknowledging my hands more from like 35 and up than I did pre-35. You feel the same way? So your hands probably they should be developing more as you get older, no? I mean, for me, I definitely, the man's hands I've seen, they just get more definition of a man than when I was 19, 20, 25 even. Exactly. Just there's a chachma, the wisdom comes into your hands more as you get older. Literal, just in a much literal sense. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking. That's it. I don't know. It's a mazel. I mean, it just becomes visible. So the more you start isolating parts of your body, the hands. A man's forearm. I'm just speaking from experience. It's just different as you get older. Therefore, I'm learning from this now. The more that you isolate parts of your body in terms of a man, that is what yields the wisdom of understanding to the man how to go on his way, right? So that a pianist with piano fingers by 40 years old, he probably is a master of knowing exactly what his fingers are meant to do. All right, he identifies, I am a pianist. At 18, he may have wanted to be an astronaut. But at 40, he is a pianist. Okay. Again, before you become adult and male, I assume this works for females too. It's just used in the terminology of a man. I think the chiddush is that women naturally know their bodies, And this is telling a man how to work with his body, which is a big chiddush by men. Men generally don't think in terms of yielding bina from their body. It's a very bina thing to do in the first place. Huge chiddush, right? Most people know that women understand their bodies as in terms of a vessel of understanding and wisdom, right? Here is how a man is to learn from his body, which is the definition of bina. I think we have found bina. Bina is a man isolating parts of his body to yield understanding in the mazel connection to Hashem, right? The more manly his hands become, his feet, his arms, just he's losing the boyish feel. He's no longer a boy, and he's becoming a man. Man, that's really profound, isn't it? I have never thought in my life to view being a man in this way. But that's it. So you can imagine how athletes become in their 30s, like in football and basketball, right? I mean, a 30-year-old NFL player is light years beyond a 25-year-old hotshot simply by looking at his body, right? The grown man can look at his hands and know what he's supposed to do. The young guy, for him the sky's the limit, but he's confused. He's deluding himself. Right, yeah, that's right, yeah, the mazel revelation, exactly. But again, it's the inside of her body, right? It resonates from inside. I mean, she wakes up from inside. The internal clock goes off, right? Right. So here, a man, exactly right, Shannon, you're right. A man comes in from the outside, right? He has to look at his knuckles and gain insight to what the panemius, the innards of his knuckle represents, because it looks different to him now than it did when he was younger. So a man's age is important, whereas women don't give so much valuable thought to their aging process. That's why women in Judaism, women have to really connect to the physicality. That's what Judaism offers, is a physical beauty to aging, whereas otherwise women take it for granted. They just take how they feel from inside their body rather than the actual aging itself. Men, that is not only what we need, but that's our first avenue of wisdom, right? It's not just Judaism says, hey, it's beautiful to get old. That is our number one resource, according to this, how we become wise, in knowing and understanding why our hands change and we become burly men, right? I mean, look at a basketball player in the NBA at 35 compared to it when he was 20, right? You see the aging process on the athletes. Barry Bonds, right? He was a young, skinny kid when he first came out, and at 40, he was like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know it's steroids, but the point is you see that the very case in point how men change, and the Torah is saying to look at it as a form of wisdom. All right. Bog. That's right. That's right. He's just an old afterthought, you know? Totally doesn't to do with him. But you do see LeBron became a man. I mean, look, you see how much in terms of aesthetics, he became a beautiful man. You see what I'm saying? When he was a kid, he was like, the headband, and he's flying, and he's LeBron, he's Superman. But, now he's a man. I mean, you see he's doing advertisements like clothes become something to LeBron now, right? It's not just a uniform. You see he's being portrayed as a man. I saw a picture on his Instagram today. It came up on my Instagram, right? That he was standing there with like clothes and a look. I'm not even talking fashion. He's just being a man. So there's a wisdom there, because some kid with a bandana and a uniform that says "Go Cavaliers," there's no wisdom there. None. Clark Kent has more wisdom than Superman. He named Sade Gever Bedarko Shielach Behem Hem Hashem Kitzorich Shielova Lo Ezer Elohei Bakul Psia. The Gever walks in his way, and he goes with them, that they are from Hashem. Kitzorich Shielava Lo Ezer Elohei. And for this reason, you need an Ezer Kenegdo. You need a helpmate that will go with you step by step, pun intended, right? And that comes from Hashem. So the more that a man focuses on steps rather than flying, then a woman is natural in his life. Shannon, can you concur to that? Or tear me down in that? Right? Apparently, this is what it's saying, is that when a man is Superman at 20, he's hard to keep up with. But a man who appreciates his step, a woman fits in to his life step by step, pun intended, one or two. All right. Well, that's good news. All right, Evan Ezra. Shnayim dveikim, mitzadim yishatzad lechet. Adam einu namavin es lechto ad ki Hashem yolichehu v'yoshevehu asher me'ito mitzad gever. You're going to like this, Travis Armstrong. You're going to like this. A man, not a guy, Adam. Adam does not understand at the time he goes anything, right? It's like a dumb kid, right? They just go and don't care until Hashem guides him and returns him. That is with him in the steps of a gever. See that? Why do we beat you with a stick? To get you to slow down, stop skipping, and start walking. You don't have to go slow, but can you please be human and just take steps? It's like, how does Reuven go from the ground floor to the second floor in a mall? Travis, can you please answer that question? He runs up the escalator, right? People are standing there with their bags, and he's knocking into them, running up the escalator. One or two. When we were all 25 and had girlfriends or marriages, we thought that we too could run up the escalator. One or two. Then you realize at 35, it's better if you just walk onto the escalator and let it take you to the top normal. One or two. That's it. And again, you don't have to go slow. All we're saying is you don't run up an escalator. That's what Reuven does. He runs up an escalator. There's nothing wrong with it. All we're saying is that's Adam. Adam runs up the escalator. The Gever dude, he goes up step by step. That is the refinement of man. Right? We go to IKEA and we buy a dresser. Okay? Are you going to fly through the steps, make a mistake, crack it open to get the screw out, and have a dodgy looking dresser in your room? Or are you going to go step by step, get it done, and put it in your room, and then put a vase on it and say, look at that. We have a nice dresser in our bedroom. Thank you, honey. Thank you, dear. Right? No one said you're incompetent and that you can't put it together. It makes all the difference having that one screw sticking out because you had to run through it versus get it done step by step and put it together. All right. Now, v'hu mukash belechto asher yala v'yachol kodesh v'acher sheyinikash yidur nedarim lavi levaker evel yinatsel min hamog v'yele min beloyich yal aleya dam kamo yevleya. I think that's off topic. So now, wait a minute. What's it? No, where's that from? 25. Yeah, he's bringing 25 there, and I don't want to go. Yeah, as I thought. He brought in 25. No need to go there. Now we have the Malbim. All right, Malbim. Hold on. Malbim. 24. Hold on. Kavar Ba'arti, I already explained it up above. Says he. Ki agam shebachira lebachor. Yeah, you know what the word is in Hebrew for this guy? I forgot. I should have known this. It's very obvious. What do you call a yeshiva student? This is the classic yeshiva student. Classic Yeah, exactly. but it's Bucher. Buchor. Bucher. Spell it. Buchor. That's it. Now, what do you call Gever in the yeshiva world? What's a Gever? You call him an Avrech. Avrech. A-V as in Victor, R-E-I-C-H. He's a Kollel guy, right? One guy is cultivated with kids, married, he's a Rebbe in yeshiva, he's an Avrech. The other guy is an idiot, he's a Bucher. You know what Shlomo's saying in all of Mishlei? First we had moron man, then we had illiterate man. What are we calling him now, Travis? No, he's a Bucher. Stop being a Bucher. How do you stop being a Bucher? You be the Avrech. Here's a trick question for you. What did they call Joseph in Egypt when he showed to be a Navon? No, they called him Avrech. It's a literal verse in the Torah. They called him Avrech. Why? Because this is the miracle of the Nar of Joseph. He was a young-looking guy, and I would have said he was an idiot Bacher because he's young. No, he was an Avrech who was a Navon. That was the Chiddush by Yosef. This young punk, right? He got there at 17, and he was a Bacher, and 12 years in jail will put a lot of tough years on you. What do you come out as? An Avrech. He was such an Avrech, he was a Navon. That is one of the most used sources of Navon. Let's look it up. No need to guess and make a fool of ourselves. Let's look it up. Ready for this? Bereshit 41:43. Bereshit 41:43. It says in the Holy Torah, Vayarkev also b'mirkevis hamishna asher lo v'yikro lefanav avrech v'nason isai al kol haaretz Mitzrayim. Now, somewhere in there, they called him Navon. Hold on. Look at 39. Look at 39. 41:39. Vayomer Paro El Yosef Acharei Haidia Elohim Otcha Et Kol Zois Ein Navon V'Chacham Kamocha. We never had a Navon and wise man like you. Now remember, he's a young guy. So you're going to think he's an idiot Bacher. Then he is called a Navon by Pharaoh, our friend the Lates. But he's so great, even the Lates doesn't beat him up. And he is called Avrech. Rashi on Avrech. Ketorgamo Dea Abba Lamalka, Rak Beloshin Armi Melech, Beshutfin, Lo Racha, Lo Baracha, Bevade Agarda. Okay, hold on. Wait a second. So he was Av B'Chachma. Hold on a second. He was a father to the king, says the Rashbam. Av Lamelech. And Rach means Avrech, a father of softness. What is the softness? The refinedness, right? The refined part of being an Avon, of understanding. That's why it's soft. A soft mind. I thought there was a better one that said Avla Chachma. Who was that? I thought it was Rashi. Or maybe not. 1 second. Who else? Is it here? Someone said it. 43. The Aramaic says he was Abba Lamolka. He was a father to the king. Right. Avrech, father to the king. Somewhere, I'm just not seeing it. It means he was a Oh yeah, by the Ben Zekunim, they said he was a chachma. But there's also one here. Oh, here. It's later on in Rashi, right? El Loshen Birkoyim, that all knees will bow to Yosef. Avrech, a father of the knee. All knees will bend. Oh, here it is. Ze Yosef shu av b'chochma berach b'shanim. He was young and soft in years, and he was a father in wisdom. Okay, so my point is, who is our idiot of Mishlei? The Lates, the Ger before he's a Ger, a moron man, all these things. What do we call him now? We have a more refined term to call him. He is called a what? A bacher. He's a bacher. A yeshiva bacher. If you've ever met a yeshiva bacher, they are the epitome of stupid. Right? That's the point. It's almost like football hazing. Right? It's like when a guy comes on a rookie on a team, is he going to be good? No. They make sure he's not good. The point of being a bacher is you go to yeshiva, you live in a dormitory, you don't get married or hang out with girls, you learn Torah, you believe that you think you understand stuff, and you don't. You just learn Torah like a dog until one day you're an old man and you find yourself married with a couple kids, and then you just get it. Then all of a sudden you're an avrech. I lived it. I did it. I know it's true. There's nothing dumber in this world than being a bacher. But let me tell you, it is the best second childhood anybody could ever have. I lived in a cave in Sfat. I was 25. I got here at 22, right? And you have no bills, nothing to do. You just wake up, go daven, go learn Torah all day, all night, watch the sunset, right? Smoke nargila, which is the tobacco pipe. The guys in the dorm, chill out, go on field trips, right? You just learn Torah nonstop. Just let it absorb. And then one day you realize you're what's called the alter bacher. You are the old bacher, and it's no longer cool to be a bacher. Everyone's getting married. So you start going out, you meet a girl, you get married, and Torah says you have to have kids. So you have kids. Now you're an avrech, and let me tell you, she will hit you with that stick because you think as a 30-year-old avrech, it's okay to fly up the escalator, right? Like Reuven. And then you find out real quick, all right, we don't fly and run upstairs. We walk civil. Then you become the avrech. So again, it's all a nice little metaphor that what Shlomo is saying, you got to be a bacher. You got to be a bacher. Acknowledge you're a bacher. When I went to driving school, what was I really trying to explain to you guys for the last 6 months, right? I was there in my bacher uniform. I wasn't dressed as Rabbi Katz. I'm in my pajamas there. You know, I'm not taking it seriously. What it was I became a bacher. I went to driving school. I'm not an expert at driving school, and I became a bacher. And the message was, okay, you came as a bacher, but remember, you're not a bacher. Now, can you start being an avrech? And when I realized that I was an avrech and I was not a bacher, and these were all kids in the driving school, and I was old enough to be some of their fathers, you know, you realize, you know, get your act together and grow up and be an avrech. And that's where we are in every situation. You know, you believe that you're a bacher when you walk into something that you don't know. Every ger that goes into a synagogue for the first time thinks he's a bacher. My message to the ger is stop thinking you're a bacher. Right? Realize that your head is held high for a reason and start being an avrech. You don't need to be a bacher. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now. So now. Ki ba'arti ki hagama b'chira lebachur be'eze derech yelech hu biyad adam liyamin usmol ki zayin acher shnetua reglayim hu me'es Hashem bekocho yochul la'akiv biyado shelo yelech b'derech shabachar. So your feet, when you recognize that your feet are from God, then you can start to hold back your hands. Okay? And when you're until you know that, you think everything is left or right. All right, this guy is in front of me. Do I hit him or do I walk away? You think that's actually a question. This young guy actually believes that is a question. When he gets old enough to understand his feet, he just walks away. There's no such thing as hitting somebody, right? His hand is subordinated by his feet. His feet come from God, right? He starts seeing riffraff up ahead. He just starts walking the other way. He doesn't even need to meditate anymore. That's an outdated program and model, okay? He's just not even thinking about it, not even a question. Why? Because grown men, avrech, do not hang out with bachrim, one or two. It has nothing to do with selling out and all these things. Eventually you realize that you're not one of the boys. Now, that's not a sellout. Why? Because if he's a true gever, now the balabas, the baranash, he's a sellout. Because he wishes he was out with the boys. And he's being told to stay home to do chores, and he's cursing in the back of his mind. The gever, he's got God controlling his feet. He's swimming in wisdom nonstop. Nonstop. So when there's riffraff bachrim, he has no inclination whatsoever. Where does evil come from in the world? From a misplaced avrech trying to hang out with the bachrim. Right? You see an old guy trying to look cool. Right? What is he really doing? He's denying being an avrech. Judaism really, you could say, is the pull, the yetzer on a man to, in this case, a man, to drop being a bacher and just become the avrech. That's the thing. So, an infrastructure that the white beard is where it's at. To let go of being a bacher. That's right. And it's ironic. What do people then do? They dress their kids up like they're avrechim at 12 years old. No, you have to be a bacher. You got to let the guy be a bacher. He has to become a lates. He has to become the idiot bacher. Right? Every great navon has to make fun of a navon as a lates. Because that's how he gets beat up. All the gever guys beat him up in words and logic and wisdom. How do you think the navon got his wisdom? How do you think you got it knocked out of him to be a man in avrech? You got to take your lumps. But that doesn't mean you are eternally a bacher because you're tired of being beat up. It's a very fine balance. You got to subject yourself to being a bacher. You got to grow out of it and become an avrech. You don't make kids into avrechim, and you don't make avrechim into bachrim. You don't stay in a bacher, and you're not born an avrech. There you go. There you go. Adam ayavin darko shagam nidmelo shadarko toiva v'yaski meldera chadaiva lefi avanaso hu lebli yoyel sheikar tuloi biyad Hashem hagoymer esa paula v'zeh yis olim pamin rabos mina adam. This guy, our Adam, he goes just, he wants to do good. Every bacher wants to do good, right? But again, the problem with the bacher is, foreign man on my path. Do I run away and he'll think I'm a wimp? Or do I punch him and show him how strong I am? Right? That's the thinking of a bacher. I mean, when Reuven was 3 in the sandbox, right? Big kid pushes him down. What does Reuven think? Cry to Abba, or like try to actually beat up this kid who's 2 years older than me? 1 or 2. Right? It never occurred to Reuven, just ignore the kid. So what does Abba say? When he comes crying to me, because he realizes the kid will make him hurt worse, what does Abba say? Can't you just ignore him? Can't you play over there? And what does Reuven say? Oh yeah, I never thought of that. All right, so Reuven wanted to do good. He didn't want to put this kid in the hospital, okay? But it wasn't an option. So he wants to do good, and but he's not being helped out. Sheikar tiloi biyad Hashem. That he's being held in the hands of God. So when that kid beat up Reuven, this is kind of a fictional story the way I'm describing it now, but it was the hand of God. right? God, wanted this kid to smack him and then have him cry and come to me, and it got me to become an avrech and tell him, go ignore him and play over there. That was all in the hand of God. I got to do my part as the avrech, but as far as Reuven's concerned, that was the hand of God. Until it's the hand of Reuven, it's the hand of God. That Hashem hagoymer pa'ulo, Hashem finishes the act. Zeh yisraelim lefami rabos ben Adam. But Reuven never saw God. He didn't realize that God gave him an Abba who's an avrech and told him, and that God protected him. And guess what? 6-year-old little boys generally don't kill 3-year-old little boys. It generally doesn't go to the death, right? It goes to like a scrape on the knee, crying, and then they make up and they hang out later. But Reuven doesn't know that, right? He doesn't know that. That's exactly right. And being a man in the making doesn't mean that your life is actually in danger. That's really what I wanted to teach tonight in Job. You think that when you get reprimanded, your life is in danger. Travis, how dare you say that? That is so not Jewish. You really have no business doing this. You're going to think, oh my God, I messed up, blah, blah, blah. But the rebuke is something so far out in left field that it was taken wrong. Because they'll say, why did you rebuke me like that? Well, Travis, I know you go to the synagogue, Menachem's synagogue in Virginia. And over there, they once threw a guy out for saying what you said. And I know that you didn't know what I was talking about. So I had to come down on you very hard to prevent you from making the same mistake in that synagogue because I care about you. But you're not yet enough of a Kaylee to understand this. So I had to scare you and make you think all this stuff and make you have a nervous breakdown just so that you wouldn't get kicked out of your synagogue. That's right. And then you never see me again. And you say, that Rabbi Katz is a mean character. Boo-hoo, he is a mean guy. Then you become an avrech and you say, man, that guy really knew. So he wasn't just coming down on me to be some kind of jerk. Now, whether or not you have the mazel to count those dots, that is your job. Because what do we learn in Job, Travis Armstrong? Stop blaming and pointing fingers, right? You want to blame Rabbi Katz. I would have been the best ger ever, but he scared me of this stuff. He called me a goy and all these things, and I, boo-hoo, Rabbi Katz, go away. Then you grow up and you realize Rabbi Katz had my interest. He may have been a rough character around the edges, wasn't too graceful in how he did it, but you know what? My aspirations of being the ger in chief of my synagogue, under Menachem's synagogue, probably just wasn't my best interest. Rabbi Katz knew that, and he had other things going on. He has other issues, and he was not a bad guy. All right, that was our Job class 101, 1 or 2. But until you get there, right, you really think this guy is like, he's got it in for my life, right? There's no way out of this. I mean, like, it might be over. He might be like putting pictures all over the internet. Stay away from this guy. He's trafe. I don't want that. So your biggest fear is going to come because you're a bacher. You're a bacher, and you only think in this and that. All right, Rabbi Katz either wants to save me or kill me. And what it is it's all in the hand of God. You just got to trust God until you become the avrech. When you become the avrech, you realize if Rabbi Katz is a bad guy, then just walk the other way. You know what I mean? Or just, whatever it is, just walk away, ignore him, go away. There's a reason for this. And that's when you really own Job. That's when you've got your Job moment and you own it. So I guess this was Job tonight in a long kind of way. Sheyir the famim iku b'darko shidame lo shehu l'ra be'emes be'Hashem. Hashem is in your step. V'ma yavin adam asher tvuaso kitzar lahasi. And what a man understands is that tvuaso kitzar lahasi. You can only understand half the story about your path when you're a bacher. So when you learn Torah as a bacher, you learn ger every chumash, right? Every year. And they tell you it's a convert. You did not get the real story, did you? 1 or 2. And they told you that Jacob learned in the tents of Shem. And Shem was some kind of like idolater or something, blah. Did you get the whole story? 1 or 2. Then after, how many years of learning Torah, you've learned precisely half the Torah. You have done exactly what's said here. You've learned half the story. Half. Then you have a whole Jewish world claiming to be experts, and they learned half the Torah. They are great Bachrim. And I commend them. That is a very noble thing. But we have to progress to Avrech and learn the other half. And that is what we know from the palm of our foot, from where we've gone and who we've seen, and know that it's coming from Hashem. And then Hashem will fulfill the work and toil of our hands. We have our hands only know to go to the source to fill the other half, which will come through Bina, whether it's marriage, the Torah, and the Shechina, and become the Avrech to complete the message and get the full revelation from Hashem. Thank you for listening. Be well. All right. I'm going to stop the recording here. This was a good class. I think this is half Job. I'm going to call this Job. I'm going to call this the night that this was very Job. It ended up being Job. But we used a Mishlei verse. Travis, just for the record, I wanted this for the recording. What verse was this? Well, so when they added the verse, let's close the book. I forget. 2024. All right, so we used the Mishlei 2024 to be a Mishlei verse class in the Navon, and it ended up being the Job class, and where we are holding in our sector of the universe, right? I think we can identify all of Mishlei, all of Torah, the need and necessity and mazel from Hashem, that you are born a bacher, and a bacher is either destined to become an avrech by his foot or remain a bacher. And if you remain a bacher, it's your job to change your mazel, as the Gra says, and learn Mishlei and become an avrech anyways. Right? You just got to change it. If you're meant to be an idiot, then you have to not be an idiot. If you're meant to be an irresponsible alter bacher your whole life, you must become an avrech. If your foot is a natural gever, then guess what? Mazel tov to you. Be a bacher. Don't let them make you into a man before your time, and come out to be an avrech, a good man, and you will get everything you need from Hashem. Yasher koyach, Laila Tov, Chag Sameach, whatever you need to hear, and that's it.